Hello, Nina Pelfini with another episode of the Hype Girl podcast. So today I want to talk a little bit about some of the amazing aspects of the hair industry that I don't think get talked about enough, and just another perspective for you to have, because hair is so much more than just hair. And I can't tell you how many times I meet somebody for the first time, and when I tell them that I am a hairdresser, the first thing that they say is, "Oh my God, you get to play with hair all day." And it's like I laugh when they say it every time, and I still feel like a deer in headlights when they say it, because it's like, really? That's what you think? But it's so funny, because that's, I guess, the general population's perspective, or just a consistent response that I get from people, and it couldn't be further from the truth. So let's talk a little bit about that. Let's get into it. As a hairdresser, after beauty school or whatever your schooling is, you get out into the real world and you start typically working at a salon knowing nothing. You have your license, but that's pretty much it. Then wherever you end up working, you get experience from the peers and or mentors in that salon that you're at, if you're lucky. I was lucky enough to have an amazing mentor. I'm so grateful for, because he set me up for a successful career, and I think that your mentor can make or break that for you. But hair, I was taught, is 15% of the service. So the skill of doing the hair is 15% of what we do. So of that 85%, it's about being a therapist, it's about being an image consultant, confidence booster, artist, time management, or time manager, if you will, chemist, scientist. These are all aspects of what we do that don't get talked about enough, right? So when a client sits in your chair, you are managing their expectations of how they see themselves and how they want to portray themselves to the world. You are their image consultant slash creator. So clients come in and they say all sorts of things. I like this about my hair. I don't like that. I like this about my face. I don't like that. Oh, if someone's a little bit on the heavier side, maybe they don't like that they're overweight or they've gained some weight. They're going to tell you that. And what I do with that information is going to make or break the end result, and if they're happy or not. So we're reading between the lines. We're all very sensitive, typically, hairdressers tend to be, and we're supposed to read nonverbal communication, because that's how we can get an idea for the client's maybe insecurities or things that they're unsure of, and ways that we can better support them and be their hype girl, right? So when a client sits down and they say, I want something different. I want to be a little bit lighter. I want to be, more dimensional. These are all things that we have to read between the lines. Okay, when you say dimension, you want natural dimension, like multicolored, or do you want stripy? Do you want real extreme highs and lows, like highlights, lowlights, lighter, darker? Do you like warmth, not warmth? What does warmth mean to you? I mean, there are so many questions to get clear about what someone wants. And this is something that really does get underplayed. I can tell you, there is a story. I want to tell you this story. So I had a client, her name was Mary. I did her hair for 15 years. I helped her around 70 years old, well into retirement, until she got to a point where she could no longer drive and travel to come see me. But Mary, we're calling her Mary for the sake of this, was the most adorable woman. The first time she came in and she sat in my chair, she expressed that she had always wanted red hair and always wanted highlights, and no stylist could ever get her there. And they all told her she couldn't have highlights because she had short hair, which is crazy. And so not true, but nonetheless, this is what she was told. And it was something that she felt like, hey, I'm just going to shoot my shot. And if she can do it, great. And I'm just going to see what this girl can do. So she got referred to me. She sat in my chair. She tells me all this stuff that she's looking to have done. So we go into the consultation. What kind of red? Do you like warm red? Do you like cool red? Well, warm red actually would look better with your skin, even though cool red is a color that you're drawn to. So we talked about that, and we talked about the difference between the reds and why it would help her skin color versus not. So she was on board with the red we chose. Then highlighting. Where do we place the highlights? Well, you know, as we get older, we get a little bit narrower in through our eyes. She had a pretty round face, but she had a short haircut. So we kind of wanted the highlights to be right where her eyes were, to draw the attention up, to open up where she was feeling a little bit narrow. And then she wanted to have kind of this spiky, youthful, short haircut. So we talked about the shape, what would look good with her face, how she would be styling it, if she was comfortable with that, so that she knew that when she left, she could recreate what we did and feel completely confident with what she was going home with. So fast forward, she comes back 6 weeks later. She sits in my chair and I'm like, hey, Mary, okay. So how was the last 6 weeks and this new change? I know we made some pretty drastic changes. How's it going? And she kind of got choked up before she could even say what was going on. And I'm like, oh my God, are you okay? And she's like, I gotta tell you, I had so many people compliment me. I don't even know what's going on. Like what you did, I have never had people come up to me at the store and tell me about how great my hair looked. Clients that would come into her dental office that she worked at would tell her how much younger she looked, how great she looked. What'd you do to your hair? This is the best I've ever seen it. And she said everywhere she went, she has been complimented every single day. And this turned into almost like a joke between she and I, where she just got so used to being complimented. And for someone in their 70s, that must feel amazing, especially if you've lived your whole life and you've never really felt like your hair did you justice. And now you're in your 70s and you can't go a day without getting complimented. And so to me, it's so much more than that I did great hair or I played with her hair all day. It was more about I was able to collaborate with her, create something that suited her specifically and was custom tailored to her and her needs, and that she could go out into the world and feel her best and get complimented every day. I mean, to her, I was like this magical person, and to me, I was just doing my job. So this is the part about my industry that I absolutely love. But with that, you need to know color theory, the differences of the tonality and how it would affect someone's skin tone, whether it would accentuate or not. You know, as far as the cutting aspect of my job, being able to cut a geometric shape on a round surface requires a lot of three-dimensional planning and cutting. I mean, that's something that I think people don't really realize that's what we're doing. And then the therapy of it all, right? I mean, to be someone who's lived your whole life, you've done nothing but love and support your husband and your children, as Mary did, and feeling like she's in the latter part of her life and she just wanted to look and feel good. Her husband had passed away. Her sons were grown up and had moved away. And so she worked this job and really took it seriously and took pride in what she did. And she wanted to feel her best. And I think the mentality behind that and how she had felt about herself all those years, and then to be 70 and now have this new lease on life and know that she looked great and felt great, and there's almost a sadness there that she lived her whole life without that, and now here she is and she's able to achieve that everywhere she goes, strangers, grocery store, all of that. So I was super happy for her. Every time she would come in, I would get excited knowing that, she was refreshed and ready to take on the world, and just love her hair. So, some of the negatives of our industry, we can, look at magazines and, movies and TV and get hypercritical, and that is something that tends to happen the more of it you see, and you really got to be conscientious of what you're looking at and not take it too personally and or get too distracted by it, right? I look at magazines though and I think, well, that was a great haircut for her. Just like when people would bring in the Jennifer Aniston Friends haircut that everybody wanted from the 90s. The only way you're going to look like her is if I staple the photo to your forehead. Seriously, though. But why isn't that something that more hairdressers communicate with and manage expectations when the client's sitting in their chair? What about this do you love? This is the perfect haircut for her face shape. Let's find the perfect haircut for your face shape. And that's what being the ultimate hype girl hairdresser is. I'm going to make you look your best. We don't care about what anybody else looks like because that's not what we're doing. Everything we're doing is custom perfect for you so that you can go out into the world looking and feeling your best and knowing that you have exactly what you need, and it's not going to be right for anybody but you. That is my ultimate flex, and it's so much more than just doing hair and playing with hair all day, and something that I think is so underrated about what we do. So I hope this gave you guys some food for thought and something to think about, that you may not realize that you're getting when you sit in someone's chair. And if you're not getting it when you're sitting in someone's chair, maybe it's time to make the change, whatever that is. So with that, thank you for another episode of Hype Girl Podcast. You can always find me at Bay Area Hair on Instagram or salonbalancio.com. Thanks. I'll see y'all on the next one.